I'm going to let you in on a cold case I've been working. It's TV movie related, and I've been going about it the way my favorite TV detectives would. I knew I watched a movie in middle school, and I thought it was on in 1986. My strongest memories were of a rich family of occultists, like Dallas meets Dark Shadows. All I knew was that it definitely was not Dark Mansions, which is the answer every tip of my tongue thread has given me since the beginning of the internet. There was a woman who didn't want to be part of the occult rituals and finally agreed, and there was a basement with flames and some women in robes. But my strongest memory around this is telling a family friend and her daughter about this movie in the 80s and getting told off by the mother for talking about this, talking about witchcraft and trash, and she didn't want to hear about it. But this was another clue because I knew what kind of car she had driven at one time and that it was an 86 model. And so I thought, surely this was an 86, the fall of 86, that I watched this pilot. And I've been looking for it in all the wrong places. But evidence, order and method, little gray cells. So now I'm like Morse. I've been interviewing the witness in this cold case, which is me. And I'm like Rockford because I immediately got in trouble around it, although it was very Southern Gothic childhood trouble. And I was planning to be Poirot and ask y'all to be like Hastings or Miss Lemon to find this movie. But in a last chance, while I was writing this script, I asked Gemini AI, and my friend Gemini is Hastings, Miss Lemon, and Ariadne Oliver all at once in this case because at first Gemini said Dark Mansions like everybody else, but I pushed back and we dug deeper. And this is the most exciting thing in my movie life since the time I found a videotape of Jose Ramon Larraz's Deviation for 25 cents. The movie I've been looking for 40 years is the 1985 TV pilot, The Covenant. But here's the most exciting part. I had another white whale, the one I mentioned in my analysis of This House Possessed. I was childhood traumatized by a woman drowning in a shower. That is the same freaking movie. Both movies I've had on the tip of my tongue for 40 years are the same movie. And I must have been the only person who watched The Covenant on TV. It was August 5th, 1985. So I was 10 and sitting there and watching this on NBC and traumatized every time, like, the shower drain would be a little slow. My whole life I was thinking about this movie, but I didn't know where I'd seen that. And now that I've watched it again, it is ridiculous. It's about Nazi bankers. They're incestuous devil worshippers. I couldn't figure out who any of these people were because they were all related and married. And the woman that didn't want to be part of the rituals was Michelle Phillips, the soprano from the Mamas and Papas group from the 60s. And I'm pretty sure that the actor from Call the Midwife, Judy Parfitt, is a cat. Can turn into a cat and into a lady. And there's definitely a guy that can turn into a Doberman because he mauled someone to death. And the fireplace I was remembering was more like a crematorium that had this big grill on the front that was shaped like a bull and was in the basement of their bank. And they were just like openly evil. They had a yacht named Cerberus, like the three-headed dog that guarded the underworld in the mythology. And they had some nightclub, like the Golden Calf, I think it was called. And they were there dancing to bad covers of hit songs of the day, like this slowed down version of Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. So I'm glad I found this, but my mind is just blown that I've been looking for two movies and they were the same movie. And I think I know why I buried this so deep, and this is the most Generation X thing ever. Yesterday I told my mom about getting in trouble for describing the movie to her friend, the family friend, and she was like, why didn't you tell me about this when it happened? And where was I when you were watching this movie? Well, back then, I was more afraid of my mom being embarrassed that I told her friend that I was watching trashy movies, even than I was of getting in trouble or of the movie itself. So maybe that's why I buried it so deep, because I got in trouble and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. But I'm thinking about it, and I never watch anything normal. Everything that I've watched is completely batshit crazy, and it started way back then when I was 10. Probably this movie had a huge influence on me and then became a repressed memory, which is not even supposed to exist, right? But there it is, 1985, The Covenant, and it starred Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and Papas and a bunch of other people. And I don't know what else to do but enjoy the movie. I've watched it. I'm going to make my husband watch it because he's a fan of people in movies dancing badly, and they certainly were dancing badly at the Golden Calf. So here's my call to action for you. Are there any movies that you're looking for and can't find? Let me know in the comments. Have a good night.